Hello everyone. In this section we will discuss about artificial neural network. So here is the following given table of content. First we will discuss overview of artificial neural network, and then we will discuss the architecture of artificial neural network. In the end we will discuss the working of how to work a artificial neural network. So first we will discuss the overview of artificial neural network. So basically an artificial neural network is a computational non-linear model that is inspired by the human brain, and it can perform tasks like classification, prediction, decision making and visualization. So the term artificial neural network is obtained from biological neural network that develop the structure of a human brain. Like human brain has neurons interconnected to one another, and the human brain consists of neurons that send information to various parts of the body in response to an action performed. Same in the case of artificial neural network, they also have nodes which are also known as neurons that are interconnected to one another in various layers of the network. So following given figure is the biological neural network diagram. So in the given figure, dendrite from biological neural network represents input values in artificial neural networks. So also cell nucleus represents nodes, as same in case synapse represents weights and axon represents output. Now I am going to show you the figure of artificial neural network. So here is the figure. In the first step, input values, that is x1, x2 and so on, xn, our data is passed with some weights that will be considered as w1, w2 and so on to wn, and it will be attached with the hidden layers. So each hidden layer consists of neurons and all the inputs are connected to each neuron. After passing on the inputs, all the computations is performed in the hidden layer. Then in the second step, the activation function is applied to the linear equation. So the activation function is a non-linear transformation that is applied to the input before sending it to the next layer of neurons. So now we will discuss the comparison between the artificial neural network and the biological neural network. So in the case of artificial neural network, the processing speed is slow as compared to biological neural network, while in the case of biological neural network, they are fast in processing information. Then the second point is the connection weights correspond to dendrites, and it has dendrites which are interconnection between cell body. In artificial neural network, we will be considered as weights. In case of biological neural network, it will be considered as synapse. So there are almost 1000 billion neurons in the human brain, and each neuron has a relation point somewhere in the range of 1000 in the human brain. So also data is stored in such manner as to be distributed, and we can extract more than one piece of this data. So we can also understand the artificial neural network with the example. Consider an example of a logic gate that takes an input and gives an output, OR gate, which takes two inputs. It will check the condition. If both the inputs are 0, then it will return 0 in output. Again, in case of input values are 1, then it will return output in 1. Now we will discuss the architecture of artificial neural network. So basically a neural network consists of 3 layers. The first layer is the input layer. As you can see that it stores the input neurons that send information to the hidden layer. The hidden layer executes the computations on input data and shift the result to the output layer. So it includes the activation function, weights and cost function, and also the connection between the given neurons is known as weight, which is the integer value, and the weight between neurons determines the learning ability of the neural network. So now we will discuss the types of layers. So there are 3 types of layers. First is input layer, second one is hidden layer, third one is output layer. So in case of input layer, it takes inputs and there is only one input layer. It accepts only different format. In case of hidden layer, this means the layers are between the input and output layers, and it executes all the calculations to find the features and it will calculate the output based on the weights, and the weight will be considered as W1, W2 and so on to Wm. So there can be one or more hidden layers that take place in the inner layer. Now the last layer is output layer. In this, the hidden layer will be connected to the output layer and the result will be shown. Now we will discuss the working of artificial neural network. So this is the basically node and it divides into two parts. One is submission and another one is function, that is a activation function, and it generates, or you can say defines, a particular output for the given node based on the input that is given provided, which is defined as the activation. So firstly, in this case, the information is fed into input layers, which then transfer into the hidden layers, and the interconnection between these two layers assigns weights. Weights are there, W1, W2, W3, so on to Wm, and it will assign weights to each input randomly at the first point. Then bias is added to each input neuron, and after this the weighted sum, which is a combination of weight and bias, is passed through the activation function. Activation function has the responsibility of which node to fire for feature extraction and gives the output finally. Now we will discuss some application of artificial neural network. Basically the first application is financial. So it will be using real estate, loan advisor, corporate bond rating, portfolio trading program, corporate financial analysis, currency value prediction, document readers, credit application evaluators. Also in industrial, we are using in manufacturing, process control, product design and analysis, quality inspection system, and the chemical product design and analysis. So in the case of time series predictions, artificial neural networks are used to make predictions on stock prices. Signal processing, neural network can be trained to process on audio, signal and filter. So with this we have completed the overview of artificial neural network.